Hello everybody, welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. To round up our mini-series on the phenomenon of UK reggae, this is our list of the top 10 British reggae anthems of all time. And for this list, we base our criteria on sheer artistry, critical acclaim, and popularity, and not necessarily commercial success. So let's go. Number 10, Pass the Dutchie by Musical Youth. If you were asking for an iconic track from the 80s that made massive waves on a global scale, even beyond the reggae genre, look no further than this monster hit from the Five Wonder Kids from Birmingham. A sanitized remake of the Mighty Diamonds Herb tribute, it became one of the biggest songs of 1982 and certainly the fastest selling single of that year. It broke into the UK charts at number 26 and in 1 week would rise up to number 1 and stayed up there for several weeks, and at its peak sold 100,000 copies in a single day. And it also hit number 1 in 18 countries and sold over 5 million records. But commercial success aside, it's a spectacular song which is anchored by Patrick Waite's hypnotic bass play, Freddie Wade Jr.'s fire drum rolls, Kelvin Grant's guitar play and unforgettable toasting, Michael Grant's infectious synthesizer play, and Dennis Seaton's delightful vocals. Pass the Dutchie is definitely more than a song and became a cultural phenomenon and definitely one of Britain's top 10 reggae anthems of all time. Number 9, Silly Games by Janet Kay. The UK's homegrown subgenre called Lovers Rock had existed for at least 3 years, but it was this Dennis Bovell produced masterpiece that became its benchmark and watershed moment. This song, which was also written by Bovell, featured that producer on the keyboards, guitar and bass, ably supported by Aswad's Drummy Zeb on the drums, as the foundation for the then 21-year-old Janet Kay's impossibly high-pitched vocals. When the song came out in the summer of 1979, it reached number 2 on the UK singles charts and also became a major hit across Europe and made waves all the way to Japan. And this love song, told from the point of view of a love-struck lady to a mystery man, catapulted Janet Kay to superstardom and officially ushered in the age of Lovers Rock, in the process paving the way for other stars of that subgenre like Carol Thompson, Gene Adebambo and Peter Honningale, a landmark British recording which has spawned lots of covers over the years. Number 8, Dedicated to the One I Love by McLean. By 1994, UK subgenres like jungle and ragga were tearing up the charts, and which reggae or lovers rock could barely find any headway when Delroy McLean, aka Bitty McLean, unleashed this charming lovers rock masterpiece, a cover of an American doo-wop number from the 50s that he reworked into this unforgettable rubber-dub track. This song was regarded by music critics as the second wave of British reggae after the explosive rich reggae era of the 70s and the crossover wave of the 80s, and became a big hit that reached number 6 on the UK singles charts. This song is celebrated for its crisp instrumentation and Bitty McLean's super sweet tenor in the mold of a Horace Andy or a Half Pint. Number 7, Wild World by Maxi Priest. By 1987, Maxi Priest was one of Britain's biggest reggae artists when he took a trip to Jamaica to record his third album, Maxi, which became his true international breakout hit. The track Wild World, which was the biggest single of that album, hit number 1 in the UK charts in 1988 and top 10 in several countries, including Japan. This song, which was a cover of a 1970 Cat Stevens track, featured the production wizardry of Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare, plus the instrumental genius of Mafia and Fluxy, set the stage for Maxi Priest's incredible run into the 90s. Number 6, Sonny's Letter by Linton Kwesi Johnson. Off his second album, Forces of Victory, this radical dub poet unleashed this sobering track, which is the haunting reading of a letter by a young man behind bars to his mother, explaining why he was forced to do the unthinkable while defending his brother at a bus stop. This song featured LKJ's riveting poetry in tandem with the sublime production and instrumentals, all orchestrated by Dennis Bovell. This track is dramatic, intense, and brilliant, and its influence will see the album Forces of Victory celebrated as one of the most important reggae albums ever put together, and is certainly among the greatest British reggae tracks ever recorded. Number 5, Amigo by Black Slate. In the summer of 1980, this London-based reggae band unleashed this unforgettable celebration of friendship, unity, and the love of Jah. When the song hit record shelves in that year, it became a massive top 10 hit in Britain and several other countries across Europe. Its popularity even reverberated all the way to Asia and South America. This song is a wonderful balance of flawless instrumentals and a lead singer at the very top of his game. It's the ultimate sing-along tune with a repetitive charm that is true ear candy while carrying a huge message. A great formula for an infectious reggae anthem like no other. It contains everything we love about the golden era of that genre and is without a doubt simply among the best from Britain. Number 4, Ghost Town by The Specials. Against the backdrop of social and political problems ravaging Britain in 1981, The Specials unleashed this 3 minutes 41 second magnum opus that was inspired by the true-life economic problems that overran their hometown in Coventry. This track's instrumentals are sublime, hard-hitting, and slick to say the least, heavily punctuated by the piercing horns, the screaming chorus, and the restrained toasting by Neville Staple. This song's release was met with massive critical acclaim as well as huge commercial success, reaching number 1 on the UK singles charts and stayed on top for 3 weeks and would also chart in several other countries. This song became a cultural phenomenon and echo of the times and has been used in several movies over the years since its release and is still rated as one of the greatest songs to come out of Britain across all genres. Number 3, King by UB40. I'm very certain that many UB40 fans are wondering how on earth I didn't pick Red Red Wine, because if we're being honest, it's an incredible song that did huge numbers commercially plus high up there in the charts. But in terms of pure artistry, originality and instrumentation, the song King is on a different level. After several years of relentless rehearsals in the basement of bassist Earl Falconer's mother's house in Birmingham, they finally released this tune as their debut single, a tribute to Martin Luther King, and it featured a then hungry and young UB40 cranking out a mesmerizing, dreamy, and hypnotic instrumental way beyond their years. Upon release, this song stunned the reggae world, not only in Britain but abroad, and was a commercial hit that went to number 4 on the UK singles charts and top 10 in Ireland, plus top 40 in Australia. It was prime UB40 before they softened their sound and is in my opinion miles ahead of all their other songs, except maybe Food for Thought, which is very close in quality. Number 2, Warrior Charge by Aswad. Off the 1980 movie Babylon, a movie made by Italian director Franco Rosso, which starred Aswad members, came this epic dub joint that's popularly regarded by the fans of this group as their ultimate creation. It's indeed one of the greatest dub tracks ever recorded and is perfect in every department, from the sublime guitar and bass to the percussions, down to a then 20-year-old drummy Zeb performing magic on the drums. Yet again another phenomenal piece of British reggae music put together masterfully by the great Dennis Bovell, who was the musical director in charge of the movie soundtrack. It's a perfect snapshot of how red hot and uncompromising Aswad were in that era, before they began to score radio-friendly pop reggae hits by the end of the 80s. And coming in at number 1 is Chant a Psalm by Steel Pulse. Off their comeback album True Democracy from 1982, these hand-worked Birmingham heroes unleashed this unstoppable Rasta anthem, then broke and out of their contract with Island Records. Steel Pulse threw everything they had plus the kitchen sink into these songs that made up this album, and in the process crafted an unrivaled scorcher. On most songs from most groups, you can pick out a star component in a band, but in this one, it's impossible to identify a single outlier. Steel Pulse was by then like a finely tuned Rolls-Royce engine, but being a sucker for the rhythm section, I must give a shout out to the relentless bass heroics of Ronald Stepper McQueen and the thunderous offerings of Steve Grizzly Nesbitt that powered the phenomenal vocals of the great David Hines. This song is an absolutely wicked tune that's one of the greatest reggae tunes ever put together, and without a single doubt, the greatest British reggae song of all time. And that, dear viewers, was my list of the top 10 UK reggae anthems of all time. I hope you liked it, but if you don't agree with me, let's have yours in the comment section below. And until next time, Jah bless.